Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
One round down, 7 to go, and the largely dirt driver base is now challenged with a 3/8 mile modern day drift pad across the street from Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Welcome to the BRP iRacing series on Pit Stop TV. Andrew Cardinale with Trey Shuttlesworth alongside. And Trey, I'm looking forward to this one. It's a racetrack I think that's a little bit underused on the iRacing.com sim, free to all members, but boy is it a hidden gem. The Lanier Raceplex has a troubled storied history, but tonight we opened the iRacing.com, provide a time capsule of the speedway as it stood under the name of Lanier National Speedway. Tasked with making it around this Georgian bull ring is the BRP Asphalt Modified Tour field of drivers. And again, Trey, I'm just looking forward to having more modified action on the channel. This is a big difference from those big blocks they drove on dirt a season ago. These asphalt ground pounders are a lot of fun.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you for having me tonight, and it's awesome to be back for the second week of this Tour Modified series here, brought to us by the guys who, of course, run the BRP Big Block Modified series, or what is now actually the Pro Late models this season. But no, either way, you have a lot of fun action on a Monday night, a lot of fun action now on Wednesday nights. And yeah, we have come to quite the destination, especially if you're looking for fun short tracks on the iRacing.com service. And like you said, Andrew, it's kind of surprising to see the mixed reaction that Lanier Raceplex, if you will, gets, just because it can be a lot of fun. And sure, overtaking is incredibly difficult, but it's a fun track to try to master. So yeah, all in all, it presents a pretty fun package, and you can utilize it both, for pavement as we are tonight, or on the dirt side of things. Tonight, of course, on the pavement, it'll be a tough night. It's just all around, it's difficult to maneuver as a driver, both in terms of trying to create overtaking opportunities and just the fact that if you overdo throttle application just a little bit, you're very immediately going to go into the outside wall off the exit of the corner. It does not take a whole lot here at this racetrack.
Yeah, the great thing about Lanier is it is one of those racetracks now of 3 that can double up as a dirt venue, and it is on that Pro Late Model schedule. We'll see it a little bit later on, I believe around race 4, with the Pro Late Models in the BRP iRacing series on Monday nights. However, we're here with the Northeast mods, rather, the Asphalt Modifieds, the Tour Modifieds, and let's take a look at our schedule. Last week, April 21st, 2021, we took 60 laps at Southern National Motorsports Park. Dave Corsol, currently second in practice, won that one over a late fading but early charging Aaron Smith. We'll see how Aaron stacks up this evening and currently leads practice here at the Lanier Raceplex. Next week, we do something very interesting with these modifieds. It's something that's been done in real life before. I've not seen it done actually on iRacing before. I think people have done it in maybe practice sessions, but I'm not sure that they've committed to it for a full league race. 23 laps next week on Cinco de Mayo at the Watkins Glen International. That's going to be fun, I think. And then, of course, we get back to our short track roots. We go pound some ground at USA, then Thompson, Connecticut, Concord Speedway in Concord, North Carolina, Oxford Plains up in Maine, and rounding out the season at South Boston Speedway.
Yeah, we hit on the schedule last week, and all I can do is kind of continue to praise the schedule as we continue to accelerate into the middle portion of the season. All around, it does a pretty good job of going to really, if you will, just conventional stops for a modified tour. And then, as you said, that surprise next week at Watkins Glen, without a doubt, I think that's a thing that most drivers are probably going to be looking forward to. And I think I'm definitely most looking forward to seeing how these cars handle on a road course. Just based off of how these cars handle on ovals, I expect a massive amount of full throttle time and probably a lot of close competition over the course of 23 laps at Watkins Glen International. But yeah, otherwise, the next 5 rounds after that, it's a pretty healthy mix of going down south and then going back up to where modifieds tend to be pretty prevalent up in the Northeast, whether it be Thompson, Oxford Plains, or South Boston. Little bit of a mix-up of tracks that are now legacy circuits, if you will, in real life, just because they aren't in operating condition anymore with USA International Speedway and Concord Speedway for rounds 4 and 6.
Yeah, and Thompson and Oxford Plains, I think, are going to be pretty fun just because, of course, those are Northeast racetracks. Those are racetracks where modifieds run rather often. So a nice, good mix here. And those Northeast races are going to be home races for a lot of these drivers in the field this season. We take a look at our point standings after one race, and all 10 of these drivers, well, they were the 10 drivers last week at Southern National. Somewhat smaller field sizes here so far in the season. That said, we've bumped that up one. We do have Jean-Philippe Bergeron, who has joined the fray, now up to 11 cars. We're we're going slowly north. And I think as this season builds, as this series builds, we're going to see more drivers make the switch over to these Asphalt modifieds in this extra series here for BRP. I look forward to seeing where this season will go, but that said, Dave Coursol enters this evening 2 points behind Aaron Smith by virtue of bonus points. Aaron Smith had the fastest qualifying time. He had the fastest race lap. He led the most laps. That's 4 bonus points. That is enough to vault him ahead of Dave Coursol. So every bonus opportunity that Aaron Smith had available, he took, and by that, he gets the points lead after one race at Southern National. Maxime Plant, just a little ways back, you see Travis Miller, Jamie Porter. They both check in. Well, they all check in the top 5 there, all within 10 points of the points lead. Then you get a few guys, just a few more points back. Dylan McDonald, Hunter Hulberg, Randy Giroux, Dean Meitzler, and Corby Daniels.
And we're already seeing it with Aaron Smith tonight. He's currently leading the practice chart, so he's already looking to be in a good position to pick up some of those reserve points, if you will. Those, well, bonus is honestly a better term, and it's the term that's normally utilized for it. But he seems to be in a good position to have that really good short run pace, and that can really pay off in these types of races where cautions could be potentially really consistent tonight. Yeah, otherwise I look at the point standings. It's a little bit hard to take too much from it after one round, even for being a short championship. But one thing that is very critical to know is the fact that Maxime Plant not in the field tonight. Still about 2 minutes left for him to get into that virtual pit area before qualifying, but the time is starting to run thin, so I have to wonder if he's going to show or not tonight. But outside of that, I think another takeaway you can see from these point standings is the fact that even showing up, just because of how, I guess, moderate the field sizes are at this point in time, showing up is just going to pay off in the long run. And that can make a big difference even compared to a guy like Plant if he's only having a potentially part-time schedule this season.
And Trey, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. Tyler Pachalski in the field. So I saw 11 drivers. I thought we'd only added 1. No, we lost 1 and we added 2 then. So we should have 12 then next week at Watkins Glen by that theory. We'll see how that goes. But Tyler Pachalski, Jean-Philippe Bergeron will make their first starts in the series this evening on April the 28th. I'm looking forward to things. Practice winding down, about a minute left to go. Let's take a look at some of the practice times, though. And up top, again, Aaron Smith taking the move over from Nork. Quite simply, I expect him to just be the guy to beat, I think, all season long. Especially next week at Watkins Glen. Road courses are his thing. We're going to a road course in a race car that is meant for ovals. I think, absolutely, we're going to see that 70 car thrive.
Yeah, and while he wasn't having the best night overall, just due to the fact that, he doesn't pick up the victory, I think he's at a racetrack where what he was able to do might play a little bit more to his favor. He was incredibly effective on the inside line, and he was struggling a little bit off exit at Southern National Motorsports Park. This is a racetrack where you're going to have a better chance of being able to compensate for that, just because... Now, I have to say, I have to preface this, I haven't seen modifieds in action here at the Lanier Raceplex on the iRacing.com service, but I would expect, just based off of the way stock cars take this racetrack, that the outside line probably is going to be very difficult to make effective as a race car driver tonight.
Yeah, these guys will be bottom feeding this evening, much like they do on dirt. I look forward to seeing how things go this evening, though. I think we might see them start to use that second groove up the racetrack, Trey. I think we'll start to see a little bit of the racetrack open up, but certainly not at all like on dirt, where eventually you get that top side worked in just because the bottom is too rubbered up. We'll see how it goes, though, as we get ready to go qualifying here at the Lanier Raceplex. What do you say we go on board, then, with Aaron Smith as he goes out for his qualifying lap? And I love these onboards with these Tour modifieds. This is a great view along with the 70 car of Aaron Smith. And to hear that motor get up to speed. And these cars make a lot of mechanical grip. That's the other thing. Is there's not really aero devices on these modifieds. You get a bit of a spoiler on the rear end of the race car tray, but you don't get a splitter. You don't get a big wing or anything. It's just that one spoiler on the rear end. Otherwise, you're left to just whatever mechanical grip you can muster up. Dean Meitzler initially goes fastest, then Aaron Smith takes that time. Dave Coursol now in second place, and they're all sorting things out.
Well, the one thing you do get that could be very beneficial, and you've mentioned it a bit last week, Andrew, is the fact that the tires on the Tour Modifieds are just absolutely massive. And that can work a couple different ways. It does provide you a lot of traction in these race cars, but it can also make your, if you will, your visibility on the racetrack a little bit difficult. or rather I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Knowing how wide your race car is, I think that hits it pretty effectively. Like when you get to the exit of a corner, sometimes it can be difficult to judge whether or not you're going to, or whether or not you're utilizing all the real estate just because of how hard it is to judge with how the right side tires are.
Yeah, massive tires on these mods. We'll see how Tyler Pachalski does. Goes 6th place. No, 9th place, rather. I read that 9 upside down. So 9th place so far. Giroux and Reiser, I'm not so sure they're going to get qualifying times in. 3 minutes to go. Pachalski turns another lap. And Aaron Smith, I think, out there as well, just turning some extra practice laps. I always like when drivers do this, when they just keep running some laps during qualifying. It's free laps. They don't count for anything. Just go out there, run them, and see what else you can learn about how these tires might fall off.
Yeah, in theory, it's a 13-second lap time here, so over the course of 5 minutes, that's very easily doing some quick math here. I want to say that's probably about 20 or 25 laps that you could get in if you get out of the pit lane right away. So there's a lot of, testing and tuning available to you. The session, in theory, can act almost as like both a qualifying and a warm-up session attached to the race. But unlike a warm-up session that you normally see, the track is all to yourself. So really, you could just focus on hitting your marks.
Yeah, you can get very nearly a third of the race in this qualifying session alone. So always a great move to run some extra laps on these shorter racetracks, or any racetrack really, just to learn how that even just a second or third lap might go on some bigger ovals. So I like the move here from Aaron Smith, and I always like this move from anybody to run these extra lap times. Of course, these BRP iRacing series and broadcasts always brought to you by Bicknell Racing Products, Matt DeRitter Designs, Jam Performance, Costco Halogen, Miller's Auto Detailing, as well as our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Tucson Sound Art, Race Pace Setups, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, and BAM Racing Videos. And at the top of the show, when I opened things up, I mentioned, of course, Trey Shuttlesworth, the only one alongside me this evening. We're both pulling double duty this evening, Trey, and by all means, if somebody out there is watching and you want to get involved in iRacing broadcasting, boy, do we have the opportunity for you. We simply need, we need more producers, we need more commentators, we need more social media managers. If you want to get into iRacing broadcasting, it doesn't matter what skill set you have to start out, we will get you involved. We will happily take anybody sometimes. We'll take any help we can get. What we ask for, though, is simply individuals who are driven to succeed in iRacing broadcasting, who are driven to be a part of a growing and rapidly growing and rapidly succeeding iRacing broadcast service. Hopefully that's what you see as it's what we're hoping to be over the course of time. And you get to make some side cash along with it. So it's certainly a fun time here at Pit Stop TV. And Trey, just hoping we can get some more guys alongside. We have a fantastic crew, but of course, life goes on and life presents us all with some new opportunities, and a lot of guys having to take some of those other opportunities, a little bit less time on the sim. So we're just looking to kind of move things around and get some extra guys who want to spend some extra time with us here on the iRacing.com simulator, presenting these wonderful leagues that we have each week. And hey, the more people we get on, the more leagues we can present as well. It all comes down to just having people alongside to present these broadcasts. Aaron Smith finally brings that number 70 machine into the pit lane, into the safety of those yellow walls, and qualifying is going to run out, so we will get ready for our 11-car grid this evening. 70 laps at the Lanier Raceplex. Again, a 3/8 mile mixing bowl. Now it's a bit of a drift pad there in Braselton, Georgia, and just past that backstretch, you can kind of see Road Atlanta in the distance. I tell you what, the first time I went down to Road Atlanta and I saw Lanier off to my right side, I was honestly a little bit starstruck, weirdly enough. It was definitely very, very cool to see it off to my right. But that said, we have a grid to go through. We'll take you through those 11 cars. On pole, no surprise, Aaron Smith goes fastest in qualifying. Jean-Philippe Bergeron, though, a Frenchie in his first start in the series, goes second place. And we'll start from the outside of row number one. The inside of row number 2, though, Trey, it's going to be Dave Corstel in the 54. Dylan McDonald to his outside. Completing the top 5 will be Hunter Holberg.
We go back to row 3 where we see Hunter Holberg and Corby Daniels, and it's already a 0.2 of a second fall off to your pole sitter of Aaron Smith tonight. But yeah, it will be Holberg on the inside, then Corby Daniels on the outside in the 6th position. Drop a few more tenths back. Dean Meitzler will be in the 7th position, and then Travis Miller will be the second to last qualifier tonight in the 8th position, 9 tenths down from pole sitter Aaron Smith.
Pachalski will come to the green flag from the 9th position. Randy Giroux, the Big Show, just had his birthday a couple of days ago. Newly 20 years old. He will start from 10th spot. And rounding out the field, it will be none other than Patrick Reiser making his first start of the series as well. So a few drivers making their first go here in the BRP iRacing Series Modified, the Asphalt Modified Series. We'll come to the green flag. We'll get this show on the road, and already green flag across the line under the green silk. Aaron Smith leads turn 1. Corbin Daniels around on lap 1, and that is going to not bring out a caution just yet. See, he gets back up to pace. Aaron Smith led that first lap. He's got Corsol and Jean-Philippe Bergeron just in behind, and through 2 laps now, still a 70 out front.
Yeah, and Smith so far showing a pretty relatively consistent pace. I want to say in the first run last week, he also pulled off to a little bit of a cap. Of course, last week, it would have been your race winner that would have been challenging him, I believe, Dave Corsol, and he's still in there in that second position. Of course, we're down 1 man in Maxime Plant from that just awesome big 3 that we saw last week. And now we're seeing, I believe, is that a newcomer to the inside? Jean-Philippe Bergeron.
That is Jean-Philippe Bergeron down to the inside of Dave Corsol, takes second place away just like that. He gets on by that 54 car. Now, I had the pleasure of watching some modifieds, a little bit different modifieds. The Carolina Pro Modified Tour hit up Orange County Speedway along with the Cars Tour this past weekend, and seeing those guys rip around a 3/8 mile speedway had me excited for this evening, still has me excited for this evening. Love seeing these modifieds get unloaded. Something about them is always so special. Travis Miller is going to make a pass there across the line for the 4th spot. It does look like we're not going to have that flag status along the left side of your screen, but we are a green flag on lap 7.
Nonetheless, I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on. We'll see if pace slows down without a problem. And how about a purple lap time? Best lap time of the session so far for Bergeron. So I think we definitely have at least a 2-car race for the time being. Of course, Corsol is still only a few tenths of a second behind yet, just relatively consistent for the time being. But no, as you said, Andrew, these cars just, I don't know if you've ever seen them in person, but they are just quite the sight for both sight, vision, smell, or I said sight twice essentially. Sound, that's what I was looking for, but all around, they're just quite the experience.
They are a whole lot of fun. 1/7 of the race in. We're watching on board from Dave Corsol as he watches those couple of leaders start to gap him a little bit, start to walk away just a tiny little bit. The 54 car out of Canada starting to fall back just ever so slightly. He's still within a second and a half of our race leader, Aaron Smith, but certainly not keeping up quite as well as Jean-Philippe Bergeron. And I'm not really sure where the driver of the 18 came from this evening, but boy, he has unloaded with a determination to go out there and win this race.
I think we'll happily take that. And I'm sure, like, even if you're in the position of, say, Aaron Smith, I think as a race car driver, you want to go into a race and have someone at your pace. I think it makes it a lot more fun when you have someone that is really close to you in terms of what they're able to do on a racetrack. Take even like Lewis Hamilton. He might savor the victories, but I'm sure he would also like the opportunity from time to time to have someone that's relatively close to pace, which is, of course, what we're seeing this season.
These guys remain kind of in the same gaps to one another. Jean-Philippe Bergeron trailing Aaron Smith by just a couple of tenths, and even just a little bit further back, now within a second thereabouts, is Dave Corsol. Back to 4th place, though, Travis Miller has separated himself from Dylan McDonald and Hunter Hullberg. These two going at it, the 38 and 99, starting to get a little bit handsy, and man, that was close into 3 and 4. Looks like, I was thinking maybe that was Beef Esports logo on the back end of the 38 car, maybe not. But the Beef Esports driver of Hunter Hullberg, though, working on that 5th position.
Yeah, and Hullberg is looking for an improvement
after
we got one around. We have a spin in front of us, yeah.
Jean-Philippe Bergeron has just gone around a quick 180, and there is the 18 car after doing a quick spin in turns 1 and 2. I wonder, is that on his own, or did he have help?
We'll get a view with the Pit Stop TV replay, of course, to get a little bit of a perspective as to what is the origin of this first caution of the night. Got off to a much better than we saw last weekend here, where we were having a lot of consistent caution flags. We'll get about 17 laps in tonight.
Yeah, now on lap 18, now 19 of 70 under caution flag conditions, and this is what's going to happen for Jean-Philippe Bergeron. Out of turn 4, it's going to happen on his own. He's going to, I guess it's the next time through. But I did see briefly in queuing this replay up, this happens on his own. So he's a little bit lower into 3 and 4 that time by. Does that maybe push him wide? And that's exactly what happens. Just pushes him wide on exit, slaps the outside wall, What a job by Corso to make the slightest bit of contact.
Yeah, even from Bergeron, it was a good job to persevere, if you will, from the accident, walk away from it without too much critical damage. Even that outside wall hit didn't seem to be too critical, I would say, to save the suspension components of his car. It might have some cosmetic damage, of course. You are going to see the right sides get right up onto the just impressive job by Corso to get on the brakes. And that really saves the day because it wasn't even in a position where Bergeron could do too much.
Yeah, no, Bergeron was along for the ride, just trying to spin the car around and get back going as quickly as he could. And Corso, oh my gosh. The job by Dave Corso to stop that race car as quickly as he could. And, I mean, he just kissed the front end of the 18 car of Bergeron. I mean, that is the slightest bit of contact you can possibly have while still having a crash, I think. That was properly incredible out of those two drivers. Pace car lights off. We'll go back green flag this time.
And the awesome thing there for Corso is the fact that he is going to be rewarded. He'll now be the driver starting on the outside of row one. Corso, I think at Lanier that might not really play into your benefit because I think the third place car, in this case Travis Miller, might have quite the run onto the entry of the corner.
Green flag this time for the field, and we go to lap 23 now of 70, and the 70 car leads back into turn one. The whole field clean and tidy, side by side for the race lead, though. One around. Oh boy, we've got a stack up. Oh my gosh, Randy Giroux.
And I see about 4 cars pretty critically involved. It looks like on lap 24, we're going to see at least a few guys go on to the first of 2 fast repairs.
This is an absolutely vicious accident. It's going to start with Dylan McDonald. And right there, Pachalski sends the 38 car around. They stack up a bit, and Randy Giroux, oh my goodness. I am so thankful this is a sim. We've seen a legend recently take a hit relatively similar to that. I'm really glad that modified is not real.
Yeah, without a doubt, that was an absolutely heavy hit, and it was in a position of the race car where a driver would have absorbed a lot of the contact as well. Pretty heavy G loads, and yeah, that's right around where the cockpit is. That really would not have been a great scenario. I look at race control. They do administer an end of the longest line penalty for Tyler Pocholski as a result of that contact. So he'll have to restart from what will be about the 10th position on the racetrack because the big show, Randy Giroux, currently 2 laps down. Patrick Reiser will also go a lap down under this caution flag sequence.
And that was the bit of contact from Pachalski. You see it in his, oh my gosh, in his rear view. That is a big hit for a modified. And again, I'm just so thankful that is an iRacing.com modified and not a real modified. That would not have been pretty. Lap 27 now under caution of 70 total. And Dave Corso, it looks like, takes over the race lead and all of that mess. That puts Aaron Smith on the outside for this restart, and that's going to be hard for Aaron to defend. That's going to be hard for Aaron to make a move, rather, on the 54 of Corso. We'll see how it goes for his number 70 machine. Smith out of South Carolina, certainly wanting to put a W up on the board for the first time this season. Dominating last week, led the most laps, won the pole, fastest lap in the race. See if he can do so again this evening. Green flag flies, Corso's back at it.
We head into turn 3. I see a little bit more smoke in the back straightaway. And it looks like at least 2 drivers are stopped, including Tyler Pachalski and Dean Meitzler. And that will bring out our 3rd caution flag of the night. Lap 30 here at Lanier Raceplex. And we're starting to get a little bit of a slowing of the pace after that 16 or 17 lap green flag run to open the festivities.
Yes, certainly a change of pace this evening. We'll go back and watch what happens here. Right off of the restart once more, and what does Larry Mack always say? Well, cautions breed cautions. We'll see what happens here for BRP iRacing Series Field. We were good into 1 and 2, but out of 1 and 2, however, there it is, a little bit of contact. Meitzler, and oh my gosh, Reiser hard in the wall. Thankfully, Randy Giroux misses that one.
Initially, I want to say perhaps Meitzler didn't realize there was a little bit of a 3-wide scenario going on coming out of the exit of turn 2. He's also kind of coming down the racetrack a little bit off the entry of turn. Oh, well, maybe not. It's just that he wasn't really arcing out quite as much quite yet.
Well, you know, we talked about it a little bit last week at Southern National. I think this could be a little bit of the same, where a driver just doesn't quite realize the full size, the full bounds of these race cars yet. I mean, they are relatively new to these Asphalt modifieds, and I think maybe Meitzler just didn't quite realize he should have gone a little bit higher up the racetrack. And but that wasn't Reiser, that was Pachalski hard on the wall. It's my mistake calling that out as Reiser earlier on, but man, that was a hard hit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've seen so far tonight. If there is going to be a hit, it's going to be pretty heavy, it appears, so far. And I think the case is just going to continue. There's something about the confines of Lanier that almost tends to encourage these really massive accidents quite a bit.
Well, it is a pretty nice Georgian bull ring. Again, just across the street from Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. Certainly polar opposites in terms of venues. I like this Lanier Raceplex. I wish it was still on some more real schedules. I know Pass tried to go here in recent years. But we go back green flag racing rather on the halfway lap. When we complete this one, we'll be halfway through the 70 lap contest.
And already about one lap through this initial restart. I do have a car spinning near the back end of the field, and it is Dylan McDonald this time that'll go around. I believe he gets a little bit of assistance, and I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, just with how tight the racing was on that restart.
No caution flag, we keep it green. Jean-Philippe Bergeron gets in behind Aaron Smith. Dave Corsel, still the race leader. But Travis Miller has joined the party, and we know Travis is a good oval racer. We're just waiting for him to kind of break through and these modifieds kind of figure these cars out. It's been a whole big change for him, going from dirt usually over to NASCAR stock cars, now to asphalt modifieds, and he's following, at least trying to follow, Jean-Philippe Bergeron to the inside of Aaron Smith. The 70 car is starting to fall.
Yeah, Travis Miller is just purely a star here on this streaming service, I'd have to say, without a doubt. It doesn't tend to matter whether it be sprint cars, stock cars, pro late models. I think the only thing he really hasn't figured out is the big block modifieds, and he was still midfield of the BRP iRacing series when they had their season of that. So all around, just a very consistently good driver. All around, yeah, well-rounded is a better way to put it.
Jean-Philippe Bergeron on the offense once more. Now maybe to the outside. Oh my gosh, Corsol says nope. Now Bergeron to the inside. Maybe a shot in the shorts. Takes the race lead. Lap 41 to 70. New race leader once more. It's the 18 car.
And I want to say, I don't think we've seen him in any of the BRP series. Probably a series debut. He gets into the outside wall there, coming across the start-finish line. That's going to open the door not just for Corsol. It's also going to be Aaron Smith down on his rear bumper.
Now, Jean-Philippe Bergeron trying to defend. There's a lap car. Pachalski up high. Corsol lifts. How about that sportsmanship from second place to let that one keep rolling? Boy, he really could have tried to use that 121 as a pick, but I like that sportsman-like move from the 54 car to give that up and keep racing cleanly. Aaron Smith now all over the back end of the auto place 54 car. And maybe a move into 3, not quite. Looks like he's kind of lost his ground there at the 54 car, and Jean-Philippe Bergeron starting to walk away.
Yeah, and Smith is in that zone where it's a really sketchy zone, because it's around the point in time where if you're the leading car, you don't have to worry about compromising your line on the entry of the corner to prevent an overtaking opportunity from the driver in behind. But yeah, what we're also seeing is the fact that lap traffic really has a tough time here, just because there isn't a lot of room off of the exit of the corner to get out of the way, because pretty immediately you are kind of in the way off exit, because there is really only about one line here at Lanier.
Looks like a battle starting to brew a little further back. Maybe not. Looks like Patrick Reiser has to start thinking about that 24 car of Randy Giroux as Reiser slides into 1 that time. It was a good catch, and these two are going to start going at it this for the 6th spot on the racetrack. We're coming up to lap 50, means 20 to go, and this race just ticking away, and that 33 is getting sideways. I'd imagine we'll start to see relatively similar tire wear, a battle for second starting to come back to us.
Yeah, and Smith, you're starting to see he's attempting to utilize an arc on the entry of the corner, a wider arc, if you will. And that is almost setting up for that overtaking opportunity. If that were a white flag, I think that's a position where a race car driver would at least try to dive into the entry of the corner, at least get the car alongside. But we still have about 20 laps to go. Although I say that, and you have to consider the fact that he also probably wants to try to get up to Bergeron.
Yeah, you know, he's certainly going to make quick work of Corsol here, or get a caution flag at some point. I think Smith has got to be quick in dealing with the 54 car. And oh, he's going to pop up behind Corby Daniels. Thankfully gets back down before he runs up to the back end of that 88 car, but lap traffic certainly a problem now for these leaders.
Yeah, but these guys are still putting on quite the show, and the lap traffic is just adding to the intrigue and the suspense of this one. And, you know, honestly, I look at the race leader, and he's not honestly pulling too much of a gap for how closely these guys are battling right now. It's only about 9/10 of a second. which, depending on how you look at it, could be a lot at a short track, but just a couple of mistakes at the top 3 could be within a couple of tenths of a second. And as you said, caution flag is out. It looks like yet again Tyler Pachalski.
This is Patrick Reiser around on the backstretch. The 33 car problems again. We'll take a look back and see what happened. You saw he was battling or starting to battle a little bit with Randy Giroux. I wonder if something's happened as a result of that spirited debate as to who should be second place. And into turns 1 and 2, they're rather close. Maybe contact on exit. There it is. 24 sends 33 around.
And we saw those drivers battling a little bit earlier. It both seem like they're having their own respective struggles in terms of getting up to pace with these race cars. And it looked like it might have just been a case of Giroux throttling it up off the ends of the quarter, not really realizing how much momentum the driver ahead of him just didn't quite have off exit.
So Randy Giroux, newly 20 years old, sends Patrick Reiser around, and just like that, another caution flag and another late one as well. This is setting up for a good one. A lot of drivers, well, not a lot of drivers actually, a few drivers pitting out of this one. Aaron Smith is one of those, so that 70 car that we thought was going to maybe dominate this evening, opting to come down the pit lane and I'd imagine get some new tires.
This is going to put on quite the show. I look at timing and scoring. A lot of his competitors have yet to come down pit road. I look at Dave Corso, Travis Miller, Hunter Holberg, and then Jean-Philippe Bergeron is going to be on tires that are 40 laps old. But I have to wonder, honestly, Andrew, I think, like, quite frankly, the time may be running thin.
Yeah, this might be a little bit too little too late. We'll see what the 70 car can do, though. Of course, these modified teams in real life, they don't have NASCAR pit crews. They can't get tire changes done all that quickly. So tires are usually taken under controlled caution circumstances. It's something you see in the Cars Tour. It's something you see in a lot of other tours where race control monitors exactly where everybody is when they come into the pit lane. And you don't gain or lose positions on pit road because, again, pit crews are not something that is usually really spent on in short track racing. So that controlled caution gives those guys an opportunity of multiple minutes to come in, take tires, and get back on the racetrack. Not quite the case in iRacing, and Aaron Smith goes back a little bit. A battle, though, side by side, 12 laps to go, coming around to 11, and Bergeron to the inside of the 54. He may have taken tires. He did pit after his spin earlier in this race. That might be the difference for Bergeron.
It puts him on about 20 lap fresher tires than the competitors around him, but Smith is putting on quite the show. I think he's actually going to make the outside work there for 5th place on Giroux. For the time being, they're still side by side, and this battle for the lead continues to be tight. A little bit of contact for 2nd place between Miller and Corso.
Miller fighting his way through, moving the 54 up out of the way, and contact! Smith is going to dodge high. What a save! Dave Corso, how about that? He got a shot in the side to save it. Oh, and he gives payback to Hunter Holberg. The caution was already out.
A couple of spinners behind near the back end of the field. I believe one of the drivers is Pachalski, as well as about 1 to 2 others.
Tyler Pachalski problems then again in this race, and you see he was just ahead of Patrick Reiser. Was it him or was it Reiser possibly that went around? And oh, it was McDonald that got sent around out of a checkup with Reiser. Let's take one more look back and see how that happens, and then go back to that situation with Holberg and Corso. So this is going to be Dylan McDonald and Patrick Reiser down one end of the speedway. This is turns 3 and 4. And Reiser a little bit sideways. McDonald checks up, and Daniel's nowhere to go. Reiser then spins on his own. But what happens up here with Corso and Holberg? This is something.
I think your initial verdict was probably right. It did look like someone was a little bit upset, and payback was paid in due course.
Watching here as Miller gave a shot in the side of the 54 car, and you'll see Holberg up the inside. Almost turns Corso, keeps the car straight. Giroux helps him out a little bit, and into turns 1 and 2. You know, it's a little bit hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised if Corso was looking to maybe exact a little bit of revenge, but at the same time, I think Holberg cut him off.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, because it didn't look like a pure dive, and I think enough of the race car was there late in the race to justify saying, hey, I'm on the inside, give me enough room to at least race.
What an incredible turn of events, and this proves something that I talked to you and others about in our free time on iRacing. You don't always need a massive field to have fantastic racing on the iRacing.com sim. Heck, you don't need a huge field in real life to give you a fantastic race either. All you need is about 10 or so guys like this that have some varying but also similar skill sets to just change things up. It's been fantastic so far at Lanier. 4 laps to go from the Lanier Raceplex.
Not a whole lot of time left, and Bergeron is going to pull out quite the gap here, at least a couple of car lengths. And, well, excuse me, lucky for him, side by side for that second position. As long as there's not a caution, I think the race is his.
Aaron Smith trying to fight through at least onto the podium. He gets down to the inside of Travis Miller. He's got those new tires. Can he get back up to second place? Otherwise, this is a huge net loss for the 70 car. Popsicle sticks, 2 to go.
And less than a mile here at Lanier Race Plus, and I think at this point in time, the battle is for the final couple of podium positions. We have to spin in the back. We'll have to see if the caution comes out as a result. No, I think we're going to take the white flag, but the couple cars still getting up to pace.
Caution!
No, we get that caution, and that's going to be one of 2 green-white available overtime finishes.
What an incredible possibility here on this final restart. We might see a whole lot go down. Let's go back and see what happens here to Pachalski. This is going a little further back towards the restart. You see him now on the outside of Corby Daniels. Corby's going to go on by. That 88 car, a bit of damage and contact there, sends the 121 rather, up the racetrack. Hulberg is going to go on by. I wonder if maybe something happens here with Hunter or with Meitzler. There it is. Ooh, 3 cars just nowhere to go at that point once Hulberg made a bit of contact.
Yeah, and I think that was just a case of racing for, very tight real estate, very late into the running of a race. After that initial content, it just really tended to set the 99 of Hulberg up the racetrack a little bit, and it's going to collect another, as a result. It was the 49 of Meitzler, I believe, as well as Pachalski.
So we are going into overtime this evening at Lanier. What an incredible turn of events for this field. I did not wake up this morning expecting this kind of opportunity for a fantastic finish from this field of drivers. I figured the race would still be good. I had no clue we were in for this kind of a show here at the end. And you have to wonder if Aaron Smith is going to, give an earth bar there to Jean-Philippe Bergeron. I think certainly driving through the field, he's only got a couple of opportunities here to make a move and try and get that race win. I think if you're Aaron Smith, you've got to consider it, if not do it.
It's a tough position to be as a race car driver. He has a lot of points in the bag. It's still early in the season, so you can make up for aggression that goes wrong, but overall, he might not be in a position where he has to do anything overtly aggressive. It might come down to a bumper, and it might be the car ahead of him that comes out on the wrong end.
Green flag, 2 laps to go. It's green-white checkered. Aaron Smith in 3rd place. Jean-Philippe Bergeron a little bit slow to turn 1. Corso driver on the top side. He might have something. White flag this time.
And that was an incredibly effective run, or rather restart from the outside line from Corso, and he might have an opportunity to win this race as a result. Still side by side down the back.
Can Dave Corso go back-to-back? Jean-Philippe Bergeron on the inside, going to send it in deep and out of turn 4, across the line. Too close to call. Corso wins it. I can't believe it.
That was incredibly difficult to tell from the naked eye. I look at timing and scoring. It's going to be 7 milliseconds. So an incredible job by David Corso. Really, it's just impressive just because he had to, at that point in time, knowing there's only 2 laps to go, he has, as a race car driver, he doesn't have a chance to duck down into the inside line and try to make a bump and run happen or try to move the inside. He has to make the non-preferred line work, and he did it quite effectively.
That was incredible from Dave Corso. What a stand he put on the top side. That was a bit like Custer's last stand or something. That was incredible. I don't even know how he drove to the outside of the 18 car and got that advantage into 1 anyways. Obviously, he restarted up there. I don't know how he had that advantage into the corner as it is. I don't know if Jean just drove it in a little bit shallow and maybe wasn't... I don't know. I really don't know. I am stumped.
Regardless of any questions we may have, I think at the end of the day, the awesome thing is that we were treated to just a pure example of great racecraft from the top 2 over the course of only 2 laps.
Take a look back on this restart and watch how Dave Corso is able to win this one. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. So this is coming to the green flag. Down the backstretch, you see Corso on the outside. I don't know how he sorts this one out. You see they're even. And oh, you know what? It's that right there where Jean-Philippe launched and then thought about it. And that hesitation gives Corso the edge into 1 and 2. And he just holds that car up top. And of course, he's taking away the arc for the 18 car. He's down to the bottom side. At that point, he's got momentum on his side, especially on corner exit, and we'll see that in effect as he comes back around. This will be taking the checkers for Dave Corso out of turn number 4, and it's that close. Wow.
I looked through all that, and all around, it's just a great job. Conventionally, it's not a position where Corso, if you're in that spot, you can't really go make an overtaking opportunity happen from the outside line. So at that point, it's just persevering. And as you can see, a little bit of oversteer out of the 18 off of the exit of the corner. And the other thing that we saw from Corso on the white flags is the fact that he was doing a great job of crowding the 18 of Bergeron, but still giving him enough room to race. It was just all around an excellent job from both drivers, mostly the driver who wins, of course.
What a finish. That sets us up for what will be some fantastic post-race interviews. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage from Lanier on the way here in the BRP iRacing Series Asphalt Modified Tour. What a fantastic second showing, and we've still got 6 races to go. Don't go anywhere. This is Pit Stop TV, continuing coverage of the BRP iRacing Series.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
We rejoin you from the virtual Lanier Raceplex, and Trey Shuttlesworth, what a show we saw this evening. I hope everybody watching enjoyed that one. That was fantastic racing, brought to you by the BRP iRacing Series and their wonderful partners, Bicknell Racing Products, Matt Ritter Designs, Jam Performance, Costco Haulage, and Miller's Auto Detailing. That finish was something else. And of course, we had to talk to the guys who made it all happen. Dave Corso, how about that drive on the outside? How did you do that?
I don't know, man. The car is pretty tight on the outside, but I know Aaron put some 2 outside tires, and I know if I don't take this chance on the outside, I'm gonna finish 4 or 5, but I tried the best of I can on the outside, and I pay by an inch, man.
You got it by somewhat the smallest of margins. Under 100th of a second. I mean, that is incredible. And you didn't exit turn 4 with that lead either. What were you trying to do differently on the top side than Jean-Philippe on the bottom?
I tried to give no space of Jean-Philippe on the inside to try to keep my momentum and have a little bit more gear to exit better of the on the turn 4. And when I enter in the tree, I feel the car a little bit too tight. Oh my god, I don't care. I need to turn left. And when I smack the gas, I just give a little bit more grip than Jean-Philippe and pay for the win.
It was a fantastic drive on the outside, but next week everything's going to change up. Watkins Glen International. Have you done any practice in this car there yet?
Nope, not on a road course. I can't wait to try that.
All right, well, best of luck to you next week. Can't wait to see how you guys all do. But who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening for a second win in a row?
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, Dave. We'll be talking to you, I'm sure, next week as well. Best of luck out there. We'll see you there.
I tried to make it third in a row.
We'll see if you can do it, buddy. A hat trick would be incredible. Good night to you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Dave Corso will be going for the hat trick next week. I know we have some Frenchies that come in here, and of course they speak French as their primary language. They do a great job with English, so I think that's why he didn't quite give us his sponsors on his race car. But I see, I actually don't recall it was on the back of the car now, but I think it was Auto Place. We got CarQuest Auto Parts on the side, so I'd imagine he's got some local partners that he would like to thank. But what a job there from Dave Corso. We'll hand it down to Trey Shuttlesworth with second place finishing then Jean-Philippe Bergeron.
And Jean-Philippe, first, thank you for joining us at Pit Stop TV after what was an incredibly impressive debut. I'm sure you're happy to walk away with second place tonight, but it's still only 7,000ths of a second away from a victory. What was it like on that last restart?
Oh boy, that last restart, man, was crazy. I mean, I was quite sure I could get Dave on the restart there because I got tired when I wrecked about halfway through, so I was pretty sure my outside tires would work for me. Just the inside line here on restarts is so tight, and Dave was pinching me down. He's a great racer, so I didn't want to run in dirty like I did for the first, the second to last restart. So I tried to give him some room, but I was sure I was gonna get that lead outside of turn number 4. From my point of view, I was sure I was in front of him until I saw the final results. It's still a bummer, but still happy to get out here with a second place.
No, that was awesome. You guys showed a lot of respect tonight, and we had a lot of fun watching. So yeah, you also mentioned the fact that you were on slightly fresher tires. How did they work into your favor, having 20-lap fresher tires?
They felt a lot different for probably the first 5-10 laps, but it seems like they all even out after like 20-30 laps. Even like I saw my lap times be a lot faster at the beginning of the run, but then after about 15 laps, I looked at Dave's lap times and mine, they were pretty much similar, even though he had about 50 laps tires. So I think they kind of even out after a while. But for the first few laps are pretty good when you want to come back to the field.
Hey, that might be good to know, considering the fact that we have a lot of ovals left on the schedule, and cautions might be, pretty normal like we saw tonight. Otherwise,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry there.
No worries, just my internet was a bit slow, so I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Okay, you're good. Otherwise we leave Lanier. Can we see you at Watkins Glen International next week? Do you have any practice time going in, or are you going to get practice in, and what are your expectations when we go to the road course?
Usually I'm not too bad at road course, but never drove a road course with a modified, so we'll see how it goes for me. But yeah, for sure, I'll try to be there next week at Watkins Glen, and thanks to everyone in Big Nell for hosting this series, and I just hope we can get a better car count for the rest of the season. But I'll be there, and I'll turn some laps beforehand and try to get the win to get back from tonight.
Yep, it should definitely be a fun one. Thank you for joining us, Jean-Philippe. Thank you for joining the series this week. Put on quite the show. Before you head out, is there anyone you'd like to thank? Friends, family, sponsors?
For sure, we'd like to thank Pro Lawn Controls and CTSR, which are my main sponsors in real life as well. So hats off to them, and you can follow us on Facebook, GP Bergeron Racing, and to make sure you don't miss anything of all our real racing and our iRacing stuff. And we'll see you in the next one.
All right, thank you, Jean-Philippe. Look forward to seeing you next week at Watkins Glen then.
Thanks, you sir. See you there.
And that was quite the debut, Andrew. just all around put on quite the show throughout the running. The fact that he was able to come back through the field at least once was incredibly impressive, and he made those tires work pretty effectively, those fresh tires. Now we have one more driver, and it's someone we get to talk to quite a bit here on Pit Stop TV.
Well, we don't always get to talk to him a whole lot, but we get to see him a whole lot more often these days. Aaron Smith, a second round on the podium this time at Lanier. A whole lot different from Southern National, but I'm sure a whole lot that you can transfer as well. Still some high banks, but it drives a bit differently. What was changed from Southern National last week to Lanier this week?
The car certainly drove a lot better. It rotated much better on the bottom, and I felt like I could take it a little bit shallower into the corners and be able to get that drive off. But unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for us. It was too little too late with those new tires, but we all made it back. That was the goal.
Yeah, of course, tires not always a mainstay in short track racing, especially with these modifieds. Of course, real modified teams don't have NASCAR pit crews. They can't do it all that quickly. Is that something you're going to keep kind of messing around with, kind of experimenting with, taking those tires mid-race, or do you think it might be better to just go ahead and stay out on the old ones?
It depends on which situations I'm in the future. If I'm leading, I probably won't make a gamble like that. But if I'm maybe third, fourth, maybe even fifth, I'll try it and see if I can capitalize from it. Almost did, but they were laying into each other there, but nothing happened.
Yeah, you were so close to having that opportunity on that restart. What went wrong? You almost had a shot there at Jean-Philippe on that final green-white checkered. Were you trying to get to him there in one, even into three? What were you trying to do? Dig on the bottom side?
Yeah, I didn't get my tires warmed up in time. Thought I'd be able to get them warmed up under caution just before the green, but I was still slipping and sliding there on the bottom. I'm surprised I was able to make it to the end without looping it.
Of course, next week, I think, is the race that I'm watching out for that 70 car the most. Have you tested with these cars at Watkins Glen yet? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I've done a couple laps there. I think that race has my name written all over it, so hopefully we'll be able to prove that next week.
I know you love taking stock cars to road courses. I think might be a little bit different with a modified, but I look forward to seeing how it goes. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening?
I'd like to thank the Satellite Racing team for their support, and y'all for broadcasting, and all the folks at BRP for putting this show on. Looking forward to next week.
Congratulations on 22 laps led, a pole, again being so fast. Unfortunately, third place, not quite further up the podium, but I'm sure he'll be there next week. Best of luck to you. We'll see you then.
Oh, thank you.
Aaron Smith getting things done pretty decently to have to come back up through the field like that, and got back up into the top three, and was oh so close to taking part in this finish across the line. Again, this is just incredible between these two.
Yeah, and honestly, this is the kind of finish where I think you can just continue to relive it over and over and over again, and it just doesn't get old, just because you can analyze every minute movement from the top two, and it just makes such a difference as these guys get to the start-finish line. It's just a whole lot of fun to watch.
That's incredible. That deserves to be an iRacing member's highlight. If I have my opinion, if I can throw my opinion into the bag, that is properly incredible racing from Jean-Philippe Bergeron and Dave Courcelle, who grabbed the win in that one. Let's take a look at our race results this evening. 11 drivers showed, and man, look at that margin of victory. 0.007. That is incredible. Aaron Smith takes third place this evening. Travis Miller fourth. Randy Giroux makes up your top five.
And then it'll be Dylan McDonald in the sixth position as he starts to get familiar. Actually, I believe this is his debut in the series, but he'll come away with that sixth place finish tonight. Otherwise, you look down the leaderboard, it's going to be Hunter Holberg in the seventh position, Corby Daniels in the eighth spot, which is an improvement from last week, Dean Meitzler in the ninth position, and then Tyler Petulski. He had his fair share of struggles. He'll come out with 10th. And just one quick correction. This is actually the second week in a row that Dylan McDonald will walk away with a sixth place result.
And Patrick Reiser brings up the rear of the field a few laps down. Unfortunate that two of the guys making their first start in this specific series end up towards the bottom of the category, but man, what an incredible finish for Jean-Philippe. Again, that was incredible in his first race, and just an incredible finish between he and Dave Courcelle. I will never, I don't think, be able to get over that finish again. Just, that was properly fantastic racing here in the BRP iRacing series and the Asphalt Modified Tour. That was incredible. Thank you so much to the partners here at BRP who make it happen. Excuse me, a little under the weather today. Hopefully it's not been too big of a deal. But Bicknell Racing Products, Matt DeRitter Designs, Jam Performance, Costco Haulage, and Miller's Auto Detailing on the series side. And of course, our partners here at Pit Stop TV. These broadcasts also always brought to you by, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. race pace setups, pick up pace with race pace, permanent makeup and cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy. Whiplash Media, the official broadcast camera and graphic provider of Pit Stop TV, and BAM Racing Videos by a race fan for the racing community. Trey, I gotta ask, final thoughts as we walk away from Lanier Raceplex.
The thing to me is just that's incredible is the fact that after that fantastic finish, my head is just immediately thinking ahead towards Watkins Glen International, where we're going to get to see the car that's, you know, not conventionally utilized on road circuits, but I think it's going to be quite the treat when we take, you know, maybe a dozen plus tour modified cars to Watkins Glen International. That circuit by nature is incredibly high speed and it provides for some incredibly close competition. And with the way these cars are able to handle corners, I think it's going to be very high speed, a lot of full throttle time, and the competition should be very tight.
Absolutely not something you usually see done, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes in 1 week's time. It's been done before, and I'm sure it'll be done again, but modifieds on Watkins Glen's road course. It's going to be fun. I expect a pretty spread out race, a little less action than we've seen in the last couple of weeks, but 23 laps there I think will still be fun. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. Hopefully you join us along for the ride, but that will do it this evening for the BRP Asphalt Modified Series from Lanier Raceplex. We at Pit Stop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The channel stays active weekly, and you can catch a variety of racing throughout the coming days. We've got the LTAC Cup Series at the Charlotte Roval coming up in 2 days and 2 nights on Friday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, before we wrap back around into a new race week with Cross Series League racing at Spa-Francorchamps in Dilara's iRacing exclusive IR01 chassis. The BRP Asphalt mods are back in action in 1 week at Watkins Glen International in New York. 23 laps the distance. Very much looking forward to it. Make sure to follow us on Facebook so that you can watch it as well. If you aren't following us yet and you just stumbled upon us, by all means, make sure you give us a like on Facebook, www.facebook.com/pitstoptv. A follow over on Twitter at pitstoptv_, a follow over on Instagram at pit_stop_tv. Follow us over on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, and subscribe to us over on YouTube at www.youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1. For all of Pit Stop TV, specifically Trey Shuttlesworth alongside me this evening, thank you so much for watching. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, albeit a little bit under the weather. We'll see if, you know what, I'll add a little asterisk next to my name right there. Coughing a little bit this evening, but still had a lot of fun working here with Trey Shuttlesworth this evening. It's always a treat to have T-Shut alongside. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Have a great night.